It's going to take 30 tons of conditioned air to heat and cool our 16,000 square foot project house. And with all that equipment, all that ductwork, and all that interior space to make comfortable year-round, we need to make sure we're using the most energy efficient and cost-effective system possible. We're using a system from Unico that distributes the conditioned air in an interesting and unique way. Now on the ground floor, we did something really special with the floor joists on the floor above us. We ran duct work that's not the traditional large duct. We worked with a company called Unico. We've got Steve Tagliata with us today to explain it. Hey,
Michael, how are you?
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, normally when you carry a piece of duct work, it's like this.
Correct.
Under your arm. Now, you've got this. Tell me about it. Why is it smaller and how does it work?
It's smaller. It's a 2-inch diameter tube, 3.5 on the outside. Unico is a mini duct high-velocity pressurized system, which means that we're pressurizing the duct and our velocities are higher in our ductwork.
So you're pushing more air through a smaller duct.
Correct.
Okay. And
Correct.
why do you do that?
To generate more aspiration into the room, to give the room more even air temperature.
Okay.
And because we remove 30% more humidity than the conventional system,
Great.
which allows us to dry the air out and have a higher thermostat setting, saving energy.
Okay, so we're going to save money and it's going to feel more comfortable?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the ductwork, do you use more of them in a room than you would with the
in a
traditional
room
duct?
this size, typically 14 by 14, we'll have 2, 3, maybe 4 outlets depending on its exposure.
And I guess since it's smaller, it's got to be a lot easier to install, like our floor joists above us?
Right. It's easier to go into the floor joists, and then they can drill those, carry the tube out to the termination point.
Yeah, and carry it into any wall?
Any outside wall, interior, whatever they can do.
And I guess since it's so small, we're not going to have to fur out some big places for it. If
Right.
we're up in the corner of our bedroom or up against where the wall hits the ceiling.
Right. As we showed in this room, it's in the joist space, so
Yeah.
it's hidden. It's out of the way.
Good. So we're not taking up space. And then you talked about the termination point, or where we'd see traditionally a grill. And you use something a little different here?
Yeah, this is our finished termination grill. This is it. This is all you'll see in the ceiling.
Okay, so it's not obtrusive. It's not the big
Correct.
thing we
It's
normally
not a
see.
big rectangular metal grill. It's a very small. It's hidden in the corners.
Yeah.
Once the ceiling's in, painted white, this blends right in.
That's great. So we're going to have a consistent room temperature, and it's going to be really quiet.
Yes, sir.
So I like that. Let's go up and take a look at the air handler up in the attic. I want to see how this comes together.
Let's go.
Steve, tell me how the unit goes together.
Well, our units are modular, which means the blower section separate from the heating section, which is separate from the evaporator coil. They have shiplap fittings at the bottom, so they connect together down there, and then at the top, it's completely gasketed, and we call them suitcase latches. And you latch it, and then it's airtight.
Really easy to install.
Very,
then, isn't
very
it?
simple. Yes, sir.
I noticed it's real clean up in the attic. I mean, we've got one main trunk line running around the house with a lot of feeder lines going off of it.
Correct. Yeah, the 2-inch tubes going to the termination points. Yes, sir.
That's got to be easier on the HVAC guys to install than
Much
it is.
simpler. They don't have to transition down to different size ducts. They can run one main trunk line and then take the 2-inch tubes off of that.
Yeah. It really looks clean for an attic.
Yep.
Tell me about the furnace system.
Unico has hot water heating capabilities, electric strip heat, and heat pump.
Okay.
Those are our 3 sources of heating.
So really anything we want to do.
Yes, sir.
We're going to save money on our utility bills, and it's going to be comfortable in every room.
Yes, sir.
I like it. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Michael.